Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Still on Nigeria's amalgamation in 1914, 106 years after. That is over a century packed now. Lots happened in between, like the independence, the military rule, and to democratic dispensations. And if there was no trajectory at the time of independence, we could define one or some today on Spectacle Television Nigerian, like we started setting the agenda yesterday. Today promises to be elaborate as a professor of policy and strategic studies, expert in diplomacy, defense and national security, former Director General of the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, in Jos, is in the studio of Television Nigerian. With him is also a senior citizen of the country, Chief Amos Shea, a consultant in economy and development. We also hope to take your preference as our lines and Zoom would be opened in half an hour on the course of the program. So welcome to Spectacle. I am Daniel Atai. We take a short break, and when we begin the agenda setting, please stay tuned.
The issue here we have to begin to look at is that at the time of independence, I don't know if there was a trajectory to where we are going to.
But how could it be that credible, free and fair under manual conduct of election?
That is where our problem lies, and that is why people are now seeing that, advising that we should move, that the world has gone into digital. We should move from the manual to the digital.
We cannot keep doing same thing and expecting a different result.
The only way you create jobs from your ministry is that you have to encourage local content.
If you look at the profile of Salimama,
there is a caveat in this leave given to him. He should seek medical help if he's fine.
Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. Welcome back. And like I said, Professor Fulani Ahmed is in the studio of TVN. He is a political scientist, a strategy and policy maker, and a strategist. I was going to ask him if politics and government is a science or art. Welcome, Prof.
Thanks for inviting me, and my respect to the public that is listening.
All right, sir.
Thanks once again. Anything political,
yes,
anything governance,
yes,
they're intertwined.
All right.
I used to tell my students who are the lawmakers. Say, lawmakers, they're politicians. So our laws are made by politicians.
All right.
Let it be clear to you. There's no difference.
So politics is a science or an art?
Management of the polity.
Okay, that's good. And a senior citizen, welcome to the studio, Chief Amos Shea.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting us here.
All right. All right. Without much ado about the trajectory after 106 years of amalgamation, I would like you to briefly, before we go to the preamble to watch the background report, give us a brief history of amalgamation and the trajectory then, even after independence, and probably where we are headed, sir.
Joe Garuba, His Excellency, Major General, that was Foreign Affairs Minister, and later Director General of NIPS, which have followed his footsteps, did say that the amalgamation, was it indeed a mistake?
Yes.
And we defended the fact that it was not a mistake.
Okay.
The imperial powers in the sharing of different parts of Africa gave us Nigeria at the Berlin Conference of 1884.
Yes.
This country, Nigeria, we look back now 106, I think.
Yes.
The larger north, which is a protectorate, the southwest, the southeast. Even we have oil Niger Delta Protectorate. You can imagine intelligent British people. A protectorate, whom are you protecting? Who invited you to protect? But they are world powers.
Okay.
So in their largest wisdom, and like Joe Garba said, for the benefit of this nation, an opportunity came to create what we refer today as the most powerful nation in Africa, the largest in population, number one economy, and by extension, highly respected entity in the Committee of Democratic Nations. So the birth of Nigeria, the amalgamation, and eventually the independence of 1960 signaled the trajectory of a nation that was destined to be a great actor in the Committee of a Democratic Nation. Good enough for you, I have written almost about 22 books, different monographs, but essentially my target is on the unity, the development, and of course security of this nation, given our size, our potentials, and of course as scientists we believe you cannot have a nation like Nigeria and you will not have any problem. By just the constitution of the polity, the larger Hausa Fulani North, as it's always called, the larger Southwest, mainly a Yoruba territory, the South-South, the Southeast, the Northeast, all those now we have today 6 geopolitical zones.
Yes.
The birth of that Nigeria.
What about the North Central?
Not Central, I said 6 geopolitical zones. I know you Benue's want to remember your village. There's no problem about that. But importantly, the coming together of this entity by the independence of 1960, 1st October, put a nation on the strategic map of the world, which was supposed to assume immense responsibilities. If you listen to Tafawa Balewa, may so rest in perfect peace, at the United Nations when he was declaring, we are a nation largest in Africa, ready to assume responsibility for the entire continent. We don't aim at challenging, destroying, or accumulating our power to the disadvantage of other nations. We are equal. Even in size we are big, but we are equal member of the Committee of the Nations in Africa.
Good. Thank you. Before we begin to ask other questions like was it a mistake, the amalgamation, the pact, the content of the pact, and then begin to set agenda now that we have expired from that pact. We'll take a brief background reportage that will still set the purpose of our being here today. So let's have that background report, just a 3-minute documentary, so that our Prof can take up from there, giving us explicit analysis on spectacle today. Let's have the video.
An amalgamation is a combination of 2 or more companies into a new entity. Amalgamation is distinct from a merger because neither company involved survives as a legal entity. Instead, a completely new entity is formed to house the combined assets and liabilities of both. The Northern and Southern Protectorates of Nigeria were amalgamated by British colonial governor Frederick Lugard on January 1st, 1914. What are the reasons for amalgamation? One of the main reasons of merger of amalgamation is the increase in the value of the entity as a result of the united front is greater than the sum of the independent values of the formers. But with regards to the concept of amalgamation, pre-1914 Nigeria, protectorate or colony, how were the separate entities faring before amalgamation? And now, the national question in Nigeria of today after a century, 106 years now, the social